Well, first of all, keep yourself hydrated. And secondly, if you want to keep your plants hydrated as well, a lot of the things we want to do in the summer to keep them hydrated, of course, is to water them, but we got to make sure we're watering them at the right time of day. Mainly, you want to avoid watering in the middle of the day because it's so hot. As soon as you water, that water is going to evaporate into the air, which you can tell if you go outside. We have a lot of water in the air right now. So early morning, right before sunrise or right after sunrise is a great time to water your plants. It gives the water time to soak into the ground before the sun comes up and starts blaring down and really making all that water evaporate. Another good time is at the end of the day. Once the sun is no longer shining on your plants or your garden, that's a wonderful time to water as well. You want to avoid watering in the middle of the day, not only because it evaporates so quickly, but if your plant is starting to wilt or about to start to wilt, watering it when it's so hot can actually damage the plant. So you really want to avoid watering in the middle of the day for many reasons.
I didn't know that about you, that you can damage a plant.
You can damage your plant. If it gets really hot and you throw a bunch of water on there, it can actually scorch the plant or just cause some issues with the way the plant's growing, and it'll really damage your plant. So you want to avoid that.
This time of year, it's not only dangerous for people, it's dangerous for plants.
It's dangerous for plants, and this heat's not good for anybody. And speaking of heat and not so much watering, if you are growing vegetables such as tomatoes and peppers right now, which I know a lot of people are, the really high temperatures, anything in the mid-90s or above, can actually make your peppers and tomatoes stop producing and stop growing its fruit. A lot of people panic at that point. They think there's something wrong with their plant, but really it's just the plant's defense mechanisms. And your job as a gardener is to just keep that plant alive until the temperatures drop back down again, and then it'll start producing again. So you'll sometimes see you'll get a lot of tomatoes at the beginning of the season, then suddenly nothing, and then if you hang in there and keep those plants alive, once things start cooling down again, you'll get another flush of tomatoes and peppers.
I like having a smart friend. I didn't know that, because you'd think at that point something's wrong. You know, the sun has been, using your words, has been blaring down on it, and that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can keep your plant alive, mostly by making sure it stays watered. Plants are a little ornery. They like to be watered right before they start to wilt, which we have no visual way of telling when that point is. So actually your best tool, if you are a gardener or growing flowers, your best tool to see if your plant needs water is your finger. If you put your finger in the soil near the base of your plant and it's dry in the first 1 to 2 inches, then you're going to want to water your plant. So easy peasy, just stick your finger in the soil, and if it's dry for the first 1 or 2 inches, go ahead and add some water. We do have a high clay content in our soil in Virginia, and clay can sometimes make it so that the water takes a bit longer to absorb into the soil. So if you're growing a vegetable garden, looking into putting down some drip tape or something that will release the water very slowly will help your plant, because the water will have time to absorb into the ground before more water comes down. If you pour it all on there at once, it's all going to kind of run off to the side.
Drip tape?
Drip tape. And we can take a look at that in our gardens behind us. You'll also notice this in action if you see any of the trees around town, especially the tree Fredericksburg trees, have those watering bags.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. Those bags are filled with water, but there are small holes at the bottom which slowly leaks the water out onto the tree, which gives the ground time to absorb that water before it runs away. So a slow application of water is definitely your best bet in these soils. So let's go look at some drip tape. So you'll see the drip tape here. We've applied 3 rows of it in our garden per garden bed. And when you apply it, you put it right near where your plants are growing so that it slowly drips out the water, which gives it time to absorb into the soil.
Yeah.
And also takes a lot less watering, because you're not watering all these other areas that don't necessarily have plants in them. You're just watering right by your plants where it's needed. So it saves you a lot of water. It can save you a lot of time, because you can turn it on, walk away, come back and turn it off later. There are also timers that you can set up that will turn your drip tape on and turn your drip tape back off whenever you want it to. So it's really very hands-off if you want it.
What a great thing, though.
What a great thing.
Especially this time of year.
You can see it's working.
I was just going to say, this is why your garden looks so good.
Yeah, we keep it watered, and we try to just pay attention to the temperatures and take care of it when it gets too hot, and be patient. And it rewards us every year. We're so happy and grateful.
So in this kind of weather, bottom line, you need to water at the right time.
Water at the right time. It's going to depend on what you're growing. Some things need more water than other things. It's going to depend also on, I mean, it technically depends on our humidity levels, on the temperatures, on the evapotranspiration rate, which sounds really smart.
You are so smart.
It's just so smart. I didn't make that word up, I swear. But really your best bet is just, especially if you're just starting out or you're not sure about certain plants, just keep going in there with your finger.
Yeah.
And testing the soil and just kind of paying attention to how much water your plants need. Because some plants, even in the herb family, like some herbs need more water, some herbs need less water. So you just want to pay attention to what your plants need and give them that.
The
evapotranspiration. So evapo meaning evaporation. Transpiration is the amount of water and moisture that the plants release themselves, because plants are technically breathing as well, and when we breathe in and out, we have moisture in our air. Same with plants. So it depends on how much moisture the plant is breathing out versus how much moisture is in the air and can be absorbed into the air. And I'm sure there are a lot of really awesome technical equations that can figure things out, but I don't have any of them memorized. I'm not that smart.
Still lots of stuff going on at Downtown Greens, even in the hot weather. And if you want to get involved, go to Facebook,
Instagram, or go to www.downtowngreens.org to find out everything we have happening.